This is a Poet Punch podcast.
We're back.
We're back.
There's probably a lot of echo in here.
Can you hear the construction?
Not really.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Guys, in canon, there is building works outside of Marvel Studios. They're building the Secret Wars.
They're building the Secret Wars set outside.
Right outside.
Yeah, even though they've not
we're
filmed
working.
Doomsday yet. They're building the Secret Wars set.
It's making sense.
Okay.
Go on.
Random number generated between 1 and 80.
Right.
Let's see.
Oh, guys.
7. It's a low one.
7. Okay.
It's a low one.
Good.
Oh my god, I can
It's no 3D man though.
It's no.
It's no numbers.
Oh.
Go on.
This goes from.
Does it have 3D man before 8 Ball, or is it 8 Ball before 3D man?
It's 3D man first because 3
numbers.
is lower than 8. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're on the B's. This is like there's a lot of like Baron Zemo to Ben Parker is the spread.
Ben Parker would be fascinating.
Is the spread on this thing.
Ben Parker would be fascinating because of the fact that he just isn't in the MCU.
Yeah, so we'd have to do a thing about it.
So it would be like an origin story of Ben Parker or whatever, like a pre.
I have an idea for that, but I'm not
Pre-Parker.
gonna pre-book that in.
pre.
Right. 1d6, are you ready?
Go on.
Alright. 6, interesting.
What is
interesting.
the options there? Go on, list them out.
Alright. It is
Right.
Bella Bonard Boudreaux.
So there's a Bella, and then there's another Bella.
Yeah. Bellona.
Wait, Bellona's the one from Centaurion.
And then are you ready for this?
She is, right? That's the Lady Bellona or whatever.
Yeah. And then there's Ben Parker, and Ben Parker.
Let's go. Roll that dice.
Oh.
Is it Ben Parker?
Okay, right. Rolling. And... Oh, fuck. No, that's generating one between 1 and 80.
I'm praying for Ben Parker. I'm praying.
6, Ben Parker.
Ben Parker.
Oh, my God.
Let's go. Origin story for Ben Parker.
What a clutch.
This is great as well, because I can't see your laptop right now. And that means that we don't have to do research on who Ben Parker is, because everyone knows who Ben Parker is.
We do know.
Well, okay.
I had an idea.
With great power comes great responsibility. It has to be in there, like Madam Web somehow.
Yeah, but this is set in the MCU, I think.
Yeah.
And the best bit is he's coming back for Doomsday.
oh God. Okay. I think in this version.
Yeah.
So what you're thinking with your thing is that when we do our big Doomsday,
every character
thing
has to
to return. But I still think he has to die by the end of this film.
Yeah, but he's
it's
coming
just that he
back.
Gets unceremoniously resurrected.
No, I think I know what it is.
Right.
Okay.
Undead Ben.
Do you know there's a Robert
Uncle Dead Ben.
Wait, there's a Robert Pattinson movie that's like a rom-com thing.
Uh-huh.
And then the very end is him going to work. And he
It's
works
9/11,
and he
right?
works
It's the
and
9/11
he works
one.
in and he works and he's at work on 9/11.
Right.
I think that's the ending. Is Ben Parker works in New York, is going there, and then the invasion of New York happens.
So
it's like,
wait, is that how in canon so far that Uncle Ben dies?
No clue. But I think it's more interesting that like he dies like although Peter Parker's only been Spider-Man for a couple of months. That's a problem.
What, by 2012?
By 2016. Peter Parker's only been Spider-Man for like 9 months.
In 2016?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ben's meant to have died kind of around then.
Somewhat recently. I think somewhat recently can be 2012.
I don't know.
I think if you had the love of your life and you're like...
But bear in mind, Peter Parker's 16... In 26, he'd be like 12.
Yeah, no,
and Peter Parker losing.
I think there's definitely space for that because that's still 4 years. That's not that long. You'd still be, sad about it 4 years time, especially if you're a teenager and your mum, and not your mum, but your aunt, like your parental figure is like alone, you'd still be a bit sad about that at that time.
True. I think
it's not like you're I'm over it.
I don't know.
It's been 4 years. Ben's dead. Get over it. Get over it, Auntie.
What if he's just killed by a random Ultron bot in like 2015?
While no, because surely Peter Parker would hate Tony Stark.
I don't know.
If a random Ultron bot killed Uncle Ben. No, I think that's too complicated because people would be like, too much. Surely, because there's already people being like, I do not like the. I understand that criticism as well, where it's like, I don't like that Tony Stark is friends with Peter Parker.
I don't.
I like what they do with it in the MCU, and I like that there is a bit of a change and a bit of a flip around. But I do equally understand the logic of Spider-Man is literally the most working class hero.
Yes.
Him then being friends with a tech billionaire does change things.
I do think so. Like, I think the difference is that like I think of it as like this. Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker wouldn't like Tony Stark.
Andrew Garfield's also said that on the record,
but
which is interesting.
But like Tom Holland's Peter Parker is young enough that he has grown up only in a world where Tony Stark is Iron Man.
I've seen interviews where when it was still Andrew Garfield and people were asking him, what happens if your Spider-Man becomes part of the MCU?
Yeah.
He was saying stuff like, the only ensemble that would make sense would be me and the Hulk, because we're both scientists.
Yeah.
Versus Tony Stark. Because I think he even got asked, would you hang out with Iron Man? And he said no.
Yeah.
Just flat out.
But I've always had, like, Aunt May doesn't like Tony Stark. Yeah. It's like one of the big things in Homecoming.
Makes sense.
And it makes sense because Aunt May is old enough to remember when Tony Stark was just the rich billionaire guy who made weapons.
Yeah.
But like Peter Parker, who is 16 in 2016,
has grown up in the context of post
Iron Man,
literally Iron Man Tony Stark. Yeah.
This all harkens back to like the reason why I really resonated with Tom Holland's Spider-Man was that he was my age when that first movie came out.
You were literally the right age for it.
Yeah. And then it's weird because now with time skip and stuff like that, he's kind of meant to be younger than me, like by quite a bit now.
How old is he now?
Well, because bear in mind he's missed 5 years, hasn't he?
Yeah, but how old is he now technically?
So he's meant to be like 17 in Infinity War.
Yeah.
And then So
you would have been 2 years older by then.
So
Infinity War, you would have been the right
same age, like roughly the same. He's meant to be so like you could assume his birthday was coming up.
Roughly my age as well then.
Yeah, and then but he's still 17 in 2023 because of the
blip. Yeah.
And then we're now in the MCU is now in like 2027, so he's probably like 21.
Yeah, significantly younger then. Because 21-year-old me is very different from 25-year-old me, and is very different from 24-year-old.
Yeah,
But
anyway, it's hard to think of how do you do a story about Ben without falling down the Amazing Spider-Man 2 rabbit hole of making him like a scientist. Oh no, that's the dad. That's the dad. Yeah.
Which is also quite comic accurate.
Yeah, but like it's still shit. Like it you can be comic accurate and still be shit.
I think the thing with that, I find it interesting, but I think it does also. It's the same reason why the theatre production is stupid, which is that it like mythologizes Spider-Man, and the whole mythos around Spider-Man is that anyone can be Spider-Man. So if you then make it manifest that one. If you then make it
be like it's always Peter Parker.
Like predetermined destiny.
Yeah.
It's
well, that's the whole point of the Miles Morales character, is to kind of like be a staple on that idea.
Yeah, like Miles Morales is literally the perfect passing of the torch.
Yeah.
Because he is literally just a random teenager from the neighborhood that then becomes
Well, we've never really talked about what Ben Parker does as a job. SHIELD agent.
No, you can't.
Low level, or
I guess you can, maybe
low level, like shield, not like agent at all, but like
Skrull.
Admin.
Skrull.
No, not Skrull.
Skrull. He was a Skrull this whole time.
What about like he's a shield admin person. He does their accounting.
I would say that makes more sense if it was like Stark accounting.
No, because
or a high profile company versus I think that's
this
is the government rather than
I don't know though because like.
Wait, did you say Hammer Tech?
I know. I'm addicted to Hammer Tech. No, but
we got 8-Ball and we got Reptile and we got
it's too many.
There's a lot of Hammer Techs. Oh, Glyph is Hammer Tech as well. I think.
Glyph is Hammer Tech.
Insane.
Yeah, there's a lot.
We really did just start the podcast by saying everyone is linked to Hammer Tech.
Yeah, it's the most forgotten about bit in the MCU is Justin Hammer is Sam Rockwell. They should be using Sam Rockwell more.
Like Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Big up Galaxy Quest.
But I don't know. I think the Parkers are the type to work for the government.
Do you know about the White Lotus stuff that he's in now where it's like basically like he went to Thailand for the Ladyboys?
Yeah,
his character in White Lotus. Yeah. I love the idea of Justin Hammer having that little thing that was just like, and then I explored my gender and I put on lipstick. And
that being a conversation between Justin Hammer and Tony Stark, where he's like sat down, and Tony Stark's like, what? I wanted to be them getting fucked by me, and it's like, all right, man,
interesting,
curious.
Interesting. What about your killer robots?
Yeah. I think working for the government. I think like working for S.H.I.E.L.D., working for the government.
So it's just an action adventure.
No,
with Uncle Ben.
It's not.
It's still a rom-com. It's just that he works for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, I didn't mean it being an actual rom-com. I was just referring to the vibes of that ending bit, the 9/11 ending. But like no
sentence.
But
this is a TV movie for one.
Well, yeah, it's it is a Hallmark movie
under Disney. Do we even brand it as a Marvel product?
Oh,
I don't think we do. I think Disney pretends that it's a random Fox production.
Oh, interesting.
And then like occasionally shows the Marvel logo here and there for copyright reasons. And then for the most part, it's just this guy called Benny who's down on his luck. Struggling by in the big city of NYC.
I'm struggling by in the
He's struggling by in the big old NYC, the Big Apple. He's struggling by. And then he meets someone.
I genuinely...
this one actress that causes most people's like MILF interests at a certain age. You know,
but she was also always very attractive anyway.
Yeah, man.
Marissa Tomei.
I was horrified when I found out she was my mum's age. I was actually like...
What?
I know. I was horrified. I was like, I don't need to know that.
To be fair, I will say, I remember watching Homecoming and being like, Marissa Tomei is finally looking her age like a bit in that movie. Not in like a negative way. I was just in like I was like, oh... Because like, I remember one of the big criticisms of Homecoming at the time was that Marissa Tomei looked too young to be an aunt.
I think that was...
that was stupid.
I don't think I understood... Because I think that's more that people really like, especially the Tobey Maguire Raimi fans.
Yeah,
are so obsessed with the idea of being comic accurate to a fault that the idea of being like, oh no, she's just like a 50-year-old woman who is actually because like
it never made sense to me.
Reminder that old women can be attractive.
Yeah,
you don't just suddenly turn like 40
it never made sense to me that Aunt May was like 80 something.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense
because like they're meant to be. It's an aunt. Aunts are usually with give or take 10 years, the same age as parents. And like parents are normally the age range of about, especially for a teenager, the age range of about 35 to like 55.
Yeah. And sometimes for like, I think it's also like, it's kind of low key implied that they're in their 20s. When the Parker family was having Peter.
Maybe that's a way in. Maybe the
it's a bit of like a family.
What
if kind of Meet the Parkers?
What if it's about
4 of them?
What if the opening incident is that the Peter's parents, for fuck's sake.
Peter Parker's pickled parents.
Yeah. Die.
Yeah.
And it's a movie about... It's a kid's movie.
Yeah.
About, like, the kid moves into the home and like is like, I don't want to fucking live here. I want to go home to my parents. It's like, your parents are dead, dude. Your parents are dead. It's under the sauce.
So this is just it's just a really upsetting movie watching Tom Holland.
No, it's like, it's, you know those like early 2000s.
It's a Pixar movie.
You know those early 2000s movies where it's about like basically,
right.
Think of the movie Shazam.
Okay.
The DC movie Shazam that's about getting adopted.
Right.
But without any of the Shazam stuff happening. So it's
so I have no context because I haven't seen Shazam.
So for very, very quick context.
Right.
The kid Billy Batson is in the foster system.
He's an orphan in the comics. Yeah.
And he gets picked up by this foster family.
Yeah.
That's basically perfect. They're lovely. They're all lovely characters.
Right.
Very accepting, far more than any of his other foster parents have been.
Mm-hmm.
And because they're so nice, it doesn't quite compute with him.
Never had that experience.
And he's like, I don't like it. He spends like one half of the movie is obviously him spent being Shazam.
Right.
The other half is him trying to find his mum. And when his memory of how he lost his mum was that he was out in a fair and he got distracted at the fairground and then couldn't find his mum. The police came like when the fair closed,
right,
and couldn't find his mum.
So it's like Holes but worse.
He was put in the system.
It's like Holes but worse.
Right. But
because Holes is elite.
When he finds his mum,
right,
it actually turns out that like the bits of it that he didn't remember was that his mum intentionally was like distracting him with games so that she could fucking abandon him because she was like
rough. Okay.
Way, and she was like way younger than he like.
So what's the plan? Are we going to make the original Parker parents absolute failures?
No. It's more the theme. I'm talking about the theme of the thing,
the ethos.
Not this plot. I'm talking themes here. That we
tone.
Yeah, it's more of a like Peter Parker learning to accept Ben and May Parker,
right,
as like a 10-year-old kid.
Which is so it's essentially how do you get to the point where Peter and Aunt May are like very, very close at the beginning of Civil War.
Actually, I know how we do the opening.
Okay.
Do you know about the Peter Parker in Iron Man 2 thing?
As in he was originally going to be in Iron Man 2?
No, he's in Iron Man 2.
Is he?
It's a retcon, but he's in it. The kid who's wearing the like Iron Man mask at the so there's a scene.
Oh, when the Iron Man drives off, right?
No. That's you're thinking of Iron Man 3. Iron Man 2 at the Stark Expo. Iron Man 2 at the Stark Expo.
Yeah.
There's a kid wearing like an Iron Man toy helmet.
Right.
And the hammer drones mistake it.
About to shoot it.
And about to shoot him, and then Iron Man drops down behind him and is like, nice shot, kid.
Peter Parker.
That's Peter Parker. But both Kevin Feige and Tom Holland have said that that's Peter Parker.
Interesting.
As a kid, because the ages line up and he's in New York.
Well, let's look at that shot.
So I was saying that I reckon that like we show this scene.
Yeah.
Kid turns around. Parents are fucking dead.
Oh fuck! Oh, that's actually great. So it's a baked-in origin story.
And it's Hammertech's fault. Iron Man saves him, but like parents are dead.
Do you know what I want? So you know how like they.
Anyway.
I guess we've seen it now because I don't. Wait. Why?
It's just. There we go. It's just this scene.
Boom, boom. I'm a robot.
There's a robot looking at.
There's
oh
so
my
many
god!
People.
The robot.
This is Peter Parker. I'm a robot. I will kill you. No, I am Iron Man.
Yeah. Nice shot, kid. And then that's Peter Parker.
Right.
And especially that final shot. That final shot of him like alone.
You just turn
on the
around,
floor.
They're dead.
He turns around. He's like, "Mom, Dad," and then gone.
So I've worked out what I want to do with it. So we are going to make them Hamatech employees.
Oh, the parents are.
I think the parents... So, like how the parents are technically employees at Oscorp with the Lizard in a lot of Spider-Man comics, they're instead employees at Hammertech, but they're low down on the ranks. They're not, like, thinking like Justin Hammer, where it's like, oh my god, I'm going to use Tony Stark. It's just that they're earnestly, like, working towards science.
They're PR...
I think they should be scientists, but they're just... They earnestly do work towards good goals for the betterment of humanity. I feel like we've done like Hammertech.
Yeah.
And then so they're at the expo being like, we're going to show our kid the wonders of the new world, all of this technology booming in the MCU. We're going to go to the place. We love Tony Stark. We love Justin Hammer. We love all of these tech billionaires that are working right now. We work for one of them.
What job does Ben Parker normally do?
He's usually a gene scientist.
Ben Parker?
Not Ben Parker, sorry.
Yeah, Richard.
Right,
but what about Ben Parker?
Is usually like a working class guy. He's like utility stuff.
Yeah.
Because like the whole dynamic is that one of them is like the working man and the other one is like the guy that isn't rich but like
middle class dude.
Out of the two brothers, he's the one that like worked his way up from lower like working to middle class in New York.
So I think you could almost see like a scene of like Richard and whatever Peter Parker's mother is called.
Yeah.
Emil? No, I don't know.
It doesn't matter because they're dead.
They're there.
Yeah.
It's them taking the kid to the Stark. It's them all excited, being like, we're going to go watch the Stark Expo. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, and then you see it, then you see the show. I think they should all be animated.
I
think it's a TV movie that's animated, so then you can make a recreation of the Iron Man 2 scene without it looking too disjointed.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, they're going to the fair. It's kind of the same vibe that you have in the first Captain America.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the
it's
expo.
It's like looking around at all the stuff.
Yeah,
like, oh my god, that's an old Iron Man.
Yeah, so it's very much
like an old Iron Man suit. And oh wow,
so it's a World's Fair. You're introducing that Peter Parker is starting to find a love for science, and you're introducing that he's still with his parents.
Yeah.
Suddenly, parents gone. Oh, that's that Iron Man 2 scene. Oh, they're dead. Then it's now Uncle Ben learning how to.
I think what it is
look after a kid that he is.
I think what it is that it's Peter Parker is like with the police, like the police have like gone and got him.
I think emotionally,
and like and then it's Uncle Ben like having gone to go and pick him up.
Yeah,
like way like it's hours later.
I think
as
it's
well.
You have that 3-minute sequence of that stuff happening.
Yeah,
title card. Everything is now from Ben's perspective at a police precinct.
Yeah.
And then the whole movie, emotionally speaking,
is from his perspective.
It's just Uncle Ben learning how to be a dad.
Yeah. I think it should have the same feeling as like the Smallville.
We call it stepping up.
It should feel like the Smallville parents a bit. You know how the Smallville...
Yeah, where it's...
I would even consider casting the dad... the dad from Smallville.
How old is he now?
Oh, he's probably too old, actually.
He's probably too old now.
But
someone who fits that profile is the dad from Smallville, yeah.
Yeah. And then we need to cast
Aunt May.
I
think you keep the cast.
No, I think she's
animated.
It's animated. Yeah, animated.
Younger.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Especially because I think she just is like, I don't think you can redo that Aunt May for that MCU.
Yeah.
I really think she is just like, she is the only person for that role, unironically. Or at least now. After all three of those movies, she is the only one that can do it.
But like,
had this been like in 2016, there would have been a conversation probably about like recast.
Yeah,
but, like
I like now... so it's essentially a movie about like this guy who was not prepared to be a parent at all.
Yeah,
who has not budgeted for an extra person in the house.
I think some of it is also maybe Aunt May is naturally getting into that nurturing role.
Yeah.
And he's still struggling.
Well, he's just lost his brother as well.
I think it's partly because he's just lost his brother and everything that's going on. And then he's looking back and he's seeing Aunt May like fit
going
like
into
a glove
it
with this kid in terms of like
I think part of the drama could be that like, you know, they both decided they weren't going to have kids kind of thing. She's fallen into this role so naturally,
and then he's
thinking,
like, "Oh, if I basically stagnated her in life by not,
did she always want this?"
Yeah.
And I was like
in the way of
that.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of like, so then the tension, and it's like the tension of like this Peter Parker who doesn't quite feel home yet.
Yeah.
And Ben, who is like starting to feel less at home because his wife has turned into a different type of person.
Yeah.
In the house.
Almost overnight because of how fast everything has had to be with... Yeah. I quite like that. I honestly don't think there's much to explore with that concept other than like that is just what it is, emotionally speaking. It's a very low stakes.
We need hijinks. We need funny
zany moments, wacky moments.
We need ways to tie it back into the MCU at random points.
Iron Man 3. Iron Man 4,
I reckon
Iron Man 5.
I reckon that
Iron Man 6. It's all in the background.
What if the move they're like what if the big like bit that gets them like there's a bit of because bear in mind there's only 2 years between Iron Man 2 and the Avengers movie, right? So you could do like a couple.
How old is he in Iron Man 2?
How old would Peter Parker be?
So he's 16 in 2016, right?
Yeah, and so he's 10. Yeah, so he's 10. So he's the same age.
He's 10 in 2010. He's the same age as me.
Yeah.
By that point.
Yeah.
So he's 10 in 2010.
I think he's technically a 2000.
So he will be 12 in 2012.
I think he's technically a 2001 kid.
Right, but he's like that ballpark where it's like, okay, so he's 9 to 10.
Actually, hold on.
He's 9 to 10 in 2010. He's 11 to 12 in 2012.
Peter Parker.
Pick a
there's a deleted scene where you see his passport. I remember this.
Of course.
I remember, because for Far From Home, there was like a scene where he's meant to not have a passport and he has to go and get one.
Just check the MCU then if it's exact. That'll be his exact date.
It says on here. It's the 19th. Wait, no, that's it. He's born on the 10th of August.
2001.
Hold on.
Was Peter Parker alive when the towers fell? We actually do need to know this. I think that is important.
Yeah, 10th of August 2001.
So he was just alive when the towers fell.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm so grabbed
anyway,
on that.
But
yeah.
I think that like it's like you see the struggle of these people where they're not quite getting along. It's not working. What brings people together?
Tragedy and disaster.
The invasion of New York is like the invasion of New York is the second.
That's the point where Uncle Ben realizes. Okay, one, he realizes personally that with great power comes great responsibility. He is becoming a dad. He has to be responsible for the family.
Yeah.
Right. And then two, it's the bonding moment of, oh right, no, this all does feel natural. I feel a very visceral adrenaline connection to these people and making sure that they're alive when we get in trouble.
What if?
So it's
what if?
Yeah.
It's Ben and Aunt May have gone into Manhattan from Queens on a day to go and do stuff.
And they've got someone babysitting Peter or something.
No. Sorry, not Ben. I meant May and Peter.
Right.
Sorry. Have got like she's just taking him into the city for something.
I like the idea that they've had a row.
to the science museum or something.
I think what that is that Aunt May and Ben Parker just had a row over looking after the kid.
Yeah,
and that gets revealed at the end. And so the whole reason why they're in the science museum, which is in the center of town, is because Aunt May left the house to get some fresh air and went, I'm going to have a day out with the kid while doing it. And then
the invasion of New York happens while Ben is at work,
is riddled, feeling guilty, and he's like,
I think Ben is at work. He hears about this, and he's like, oh shit, that's where they are.
Yeah.
Like, not a second thought, drops everything,
goes into town, gets
on his old motorbike that he used to have when he was an
alien.
Oh yeah,
I think it's also a messy like Irish bar fist fight level of combat with an alien, where it's just like, I'm gonna fucking wrestle you.
I could imagine a scene where. Obviously, like, I would have, like, there's only one, like, Chitauri soldier, because, like, he's not going to be able to take on, like, a load of them. Like, he's not an action hero by any means, but, like...
Get these YouTube
but, like, they've got, like...
actually, if you could take this many Chitauri
but, like,
warriors,
there's a Chitauri soldier, like, holding down the building. because they're like part of their war plan is to hold. Is like they put a guy on each building to keep people.
Yeah.
And it becomes like almost like a Die Hard. I'm getting in there no matter what
against this one Chitauri.
Yeah, and that's when you reveal that Ben was in Vietnam.
Amazing.
Or he's in Iraq, or even better,
he used to be a cop.
He's a cop. No.
Why not? They've already got Tony Stark. He's
a vet from the early 2000s. He was in Afghanistan or whatever when Tony Stark was there.
I like that. And technically, he may have once met the Punisher.
Yes,
sure, or at least hypothetically, that may have happened.
But we don't have to.
We don't have to discuss that.
Yeah,
I think at the end of all of this, he beats them, and then 2 years later, 2014,
he just dies.
He gets killed in a random accident in a corner shop or something, like in the movies. So it's basically the Amazing Spider-Man, Uncle Ben moment, but like after he is literally so he's basically done like great feats of beating up aliens.
Yeah,
and then it's kind of a reminder that everyone like mortality is a thing. People
do you know what you do?
Die.
You get whoever the stunt coordinator from the Winter Soldier was,
right?
For the knife scene, and that's him fighting an alien.
Insane.
It's like he's like weirdly like prolific in fighting, and you're like, what the fuck?
We should 100% have an elevator scene.
Oh, yes.
Where it's just definitely not the Winter Soldier.
There's
That's it. That's what it is. But it's just Uncle Ben.
Or maybe there's a couple of Chitauri, and they're like, we've got the prisoner.
Like, we can't make Uncle Ben too powerful.
What? They're like,
he used to go to He's an ex-soldier from Afghanistan. He was trained enough to go hand to hand against two Chitauri.
I like the idea. I like the idea that you've got this like low-level Chitauri commander.
Yeah.
Being like, what's going on in that building? It's like all translated, so he's always like, and it's like, what's going on in that building? And then they're like, I don't know. I think there's like, like in Andor when spoilers,
guys, Andor, don't watch
when Luthen is killed.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my god, a whole army of people must have come into this building to do this. And then they're like, oh my god, it was just clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that where they're like, oh my god, there's a whole army of people.
If we go to the full logic of that, the idea of Uncle Ben constantly changing outfits.
What, like Hitman?
Yeah, like a Hitman, or at least he changes into Chitauri armor for a bit.
I definitely think he grabs one of their guns, because they established in that
little
one-shot thing. That
item 47.
Yeah.
Don't know why I know that.
I think that part of it's like, I think you established even earlier that he's like trying to show Peter Die Hard. He's trying to show Peter Die Hard, and then when he takes down his first Chitauri, he leaves the thing. He's the thing is like
that's
ho ho ho. Now
so
I have
you started
now I have one of your alien blasters.
Him trying to have a bonding moment with his kid, and he's struggling, and he's trying to show the kid Die Hard.
Yeah,
and Peter being like a tech nerd rather than like a geeky nerd.
Yeah,
just doesn't get it.
Yeah,
he's like, I don't see why I should care.
I don't get this, and then puts on Star Wars,
and then like he's like losing his mind. Especially because you've got those lines in Civil War where he's like, oh yeah, that one old
side
movie,
note, I have a theory about the MCU. Okay, you go first, but I do have an interesting theory.
And then I was going to say there's a final bit. I think at some point after the 2012 incident, Uncle Ben should be like, hey kid, look what I've got, and he just shows that he's still got the Chitauri gun.
And that's what kills him.
But it's just the idea where it's just like, oh, I've got a little treat. For
I don't think that Ben would keep it because of the whole great power, great responsibility thing. I think the first thing he does is hand it over.
I think he should keep it, and then him and Peter Parker are talking about the morality of keeping that gun, and he's like, "You're right, kid. Maybe I should give this over to the government." And he and Peter are learning that with great power comes great responsibility together. So it's like them doing it back and forth with each other, where they're like, "Oh yeah, morals.
I don't know. That feels very clunky.
I quite like it.
But anyway,
I like it being clunky. I like them figuring
it out.
Anyway,
my quick little... I have to get this out because I've had this theory since 2016.
Okay.
Which is that in the MCU, I think that the only Star Wars media that exists is the original trilogy.
Oh, because of Samuel L. Jackson.
Because of Samuel Jackson, and then B, because he refers to that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
I don't think I think that it is like A New Hope. I think that like Star Wars is the series of it, but it's like it's known as like it's Star Wars, Empire Return of the Jedi, and then it's
there is no A New Hope.
There is no A New Hope. There is no episode 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
They are like cult classics, kind of like Terminator almost.
Right. Yeah.
Where you'd be or like where you'd be like, oh, have you seen that old movie Friday the 13th?
Yeah, where like Halloween hasn't really got like a major reboot until 2018.
Yeah. That
kind of thing. Rather than getting a major reboot in the early 2000s.
Or like The Thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I've always had that. Because like the second they were like, that really old movie, I was like, okay, well then those movies just don't exist.
We'll make that canon by showing them looking through streaming channels and seeing Die Hard.
Yeah.
And then you see the Star Wars stuff and it just says Star Wars Empire Return.
Yeah. Revenge of the Jedi.
Revenge of the Jedi. Yo, they got a whole new...
No, because that's
they keep the original pre-production title, yeah.
Yeah. And George Lucas died in, like, the 90s.
George Lucas died in 9/11.
He was on...
1 month after Peter Parker was born.
He was on the plane.
Much like Seth MacFarlane.
Wait, I'll never get to remake.
There is no Family Guy as
well.
No,
Seth he can't have.
Was also on that plane
he can't have died. He can't have died in 9/11 because then he would have at least made the Phantom Menace. So he has to die in the 90s.
I think no. I think it's even funnier then if you have A New Hope, Empire, and Return, but it's Revenge. And then you just have a Phantom Menace, and then no one ever managed to find out what his final vision was with Revenge. Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, man, that was a really weird one-off movie that we'll never find out the ending of. Oh, it's fine. They probably weren't going to make any more after whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah.
And then, like, that's how Star Wars is canon in, MCU.
Nah,
I think Phantom is funnier. Just Phantom is left, and then George Lucas dies on 9/11.
Oh, it'd be like with Terminator Genesis, where that was meant to be like a whole new reboot of the thing, and then it just doesn't go anywhere. Or like Terminator Dark Fate, where they tried to do a reboot of the franchise. Did
they do that? Is that how they did that? Because I stopped caring at that point.
We should do
a full Terminator watch
because they're so stupid. After like,
we should try and do an in order one as well.
That's easy.
No, but it's not quite because you'd have to basically say, and here are the branch timelines.
I think. The idea would be I would watch Terminator Salvation first.
Oh, I guess. So you watch Terminator Salvation, Terminator 1 and 2. And then you go for branch timeline approach. So
because you've got 3, and then you've got Genesis. I
think you would then watch 3 and then say, that didn't count.
Go to Genesis, and then go, that didn't count. Dark Fate.
Yeah.
So that's what the thing does. Anyway.
Meaningless.
Anyway.
Right.
So I think that Ben Parker beats up some Chitauri, and then like I think what it is that like.
The long and short of it is that Ben Parker realizes that he likes his family by beating up some Chitauri,
and
in classic how to explore your feelings
I think that like a young Peter Parker sees Ben Parker do this stuff and is like, oh wow, like I thought he was just a boring dude.
And that's how like Uncle Ben becomes Peter's hero rather than just Iron Man.
Yeah.
So it's like, now he's basically because kind of the main problem at its core with Uncle Ben in the MCU is how do you one up Iron Man saving Peter Parker?
Yeah.
How do you make that be like, oh, this is the main figure male figure in my life that I look up to? How do you one up the tech billionaire that lives? But then how
does Ben Parker die? How does Ben Parker die?
I think unceremoniously.
Yeah.
Cancer.
Nah, we can't, because they already did that with T'Challa, and
right.
I wouldn't be opposed to like his heart.
Part of the reason why Uncle Ben works in the comics is because it is the father figure of this guy who is still learning and is still young, losing someone very close to him very unceremoniously. Like, the reason why Uncle Ben works in the Raimi version is because it's partly his fault and it's still unceremonious.
And it's the same, and they did the same thing with it.
And then it's with Amazing Spider-Man where it's technically his fault again, but it is a random guy who came out of a corner shop, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the MCU Peter probably wouldn't be making those mistakes at that time.
No.
But the unceremoniousness of that is still there.
Oh, there's someone here. There's someone here. Okay, so our friend Rue has appeared. So, Nat, why don't we tell Rue what our episode is?
Oh no, we got a pitch again.
No, we're at the end. We've figured it out.
It's Uncle Ben in the MCU.
That's pretty good.
Oh, you're not gonna like what we do. So, our story starts.
So canonically, right? Iron Man 2. Peter Parker is in that movie, according to Kevin Feige and Tom Holland.
He's the kid with the Iron Man. Yeah. So our opening of the movie is animated movie, but that happens, and then Peter Parker's like, "Mom, Dad, did you see that?" Turns around, they're fucking dead, like on the ground, because they've been killed. They've been killed in the attack.
That's how you then get Peter Parker then having to be in.
And it's a movie about Ben Parker kind of resenting Peter a bit for like being in his house, and Peter resenting Ben for like not being his parents, and they're both dealing with the loss of these two people they all cared about, and then the invasion of New York happens, and
that's how he realizes.
And May and Peter are like in the science museum in New York, and Ben is at work, sees what's going on, and is like, "Oh shit, I have to get there now." Books it over there on his old motorbike. This is
when we established that he's an
army vet
from Afghanistan.
This is a cool movie. How the fuck do you picture
also, they were watching Die Hard.
So that
and then
when Ben gets to the science museum,
it's meaningless.
He's taking down Chitauri soldiers, like hand to hand combat style.
I'm not in here with you, you're in here with me type thing.
It's a fun movie. I guarantee you so many Spider-Man fans would fucking hate that.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your name is. We would just you just have Ben going around with like, I think the idea as well is that throughout like once he gets to the museum, he's picking up he's getting better and better weapons that he starts off with like just his fists, and then he gets like a rock, and he's getting to better weapons to the point where he ends up having the like Chitauri gun.
As a sequence.
Yeah.
I like all the pieces that you like.
You don't like the whole.
I don't like the idea of Uncle Ben kind of losing his thing as the one thing Peter couldn't protect, and if he is
that does happen.
Oh, that does happen at the end.
The idea is essentially that he managed to do all of these feats and kind of got to the same level in Peter Parker's head as that one guy that saved his life as a tech billionaire and then became his father figure later. But you then still have the emotional beat of, oh, he just dies, and I couldn't.
Like he just gets killed in like a random robbery. So to wrap up,
right?
Peter.
I was saying something before. I can't even remember what the fuck it was.
Yeah, it doesn't.
For the officer of National Statistic.
No one was listening.
Anyway, wrap it all up.
So essentially, like I think we have the fun of like keeping this group together. Ben Parker dies.
Right.
Mysteriously.
But,
like Ben Parker is like
in a mundane way afterwards. I think is the key bit is it has to be mundane and like low stakes natural.
And then it's like cuts to like the funeral with May and Peter.
Yeah.
And that's the first of many funerals that Peter will be going to.
Rough.
Oh no, it's not the first because it's like the first one is like probably when his parents died, but like it's another funeral.
How many people? So parents, uncle,
Aunt May, Tony.
Well, Tony's before Aunt May, but yeah.
Yeah.
I assume they must have held one for Captain America before everyone forgot who he was.
Well, I don't think people know if Captain America is...
No, because I think most people got the memo that, guys, he's retired. He's in history now.
Yeah, people don't know if he's dead or not yet.
Yeah.
But surely one of the people who went to space with him would assume.
No, but
he's not. He might not.
He would be.
He's the old man. Yeah,
he does know.
Right.
But yeah.
Now, post-credit scene.
Right. Terrible.
It's Ben Parker is about to be killed. It's the same scene again where Ben Parker's about to be killed, and suddenly, Prime Mover opens through a portal and saves him, and it's like, you're coming with me.
Well, so he's bleeding out, and Peter thinks Peter thinks he's dead, and he's like, "Oh, it's over."
He is dead. This is an alternate version of. So Ben is dead. Ben is still dead.
Oh,
this is an alternate.
And then this is in the Fantastic Four universe or something.
Oh no, it's just in a universe that's similar to the MCU, but not quite.
I'm so fucking tired.
and it's like, I saw what you did in that science museum.
No.
We're gonna need someone like you. We're gonna have. I need you to help me save your family.
Uncle Ben will return in
Avengers Doomsday.
And I will not return because I'm gonna fucking kill myself right now.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah. I think we're done.
Please leave the message after the beep.
We've done it. We've done it, chat. We've done it.
Right, chat. Is this real?
Yeah.
Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben in Doomsday.
Uncle Ben in Doomsday.
He's going to be best buds with Prime Mover and Reptile.
I don't know if who's Team Reptile's on. We need to sort out. We'll have to.
Reptile's with the also we left Reptile in the Jurassic era with the dinosaurs.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't because in the
he's on
in the Young
he's
Avengers
on Dino Planet.
No, even better in the Young Avengers TV series that we pitched.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
He joined them. He caught back up with them, and they are on one of the ships that's going to be. They're like
he's
with
on one of the rafts.
They're with the Maker.
Reptile boy is on the raft with the Maker.
With the Maker, yeah.
Oh yes, because we got the Maker,
and we'll have to do the origin story of the Makers.
Very cool.
Soon. Anyway, that's it.
Christian God and Dragon Age.
Who are making they?
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Okay. I'm done.
Done.
Good night.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
It's me. I'm not used to doing this without headphones. I don't know how loud I am.
It's fine.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna do a whole bit.
You want to hurry up?
Oh no! I forgot what my bit was. No!